Morant with a running start. Elevates. Oh, it dunks. Oh, my goodness.
Tie game in overtime. Gasol will turn. His heave is gone. Memphis on top. 7-10 remaining. Conley now a three. Count it. A 15-point lead for Memphis. And Blake Griffin gets into it on the floor with Randolph. Hard to tell if there are any punches being thrown under there, but Griffin took acceptance.
Adams going long. Morant. He hit it. Ja Morant. Insanity.
You gotta be kidding me.
Welcome to Grits and Grinds, a Memphis Grizzlies podcast. Grizzlies win edition. My name is Keith Parish. The Grizzlies won their fourth straight game. They defeated the Charlotte Hornets comfortably for the second time this season. They raced out to a quick start, scored 40 points in the first quarter. That's their fourth first quarter this season with at least 40 points. They had 76 at halftime. It was a laugher as the Grizzlies blew the Hornets off the court. This was the Grizzlies' seventh 20-point win of the season. That's the most in the NBA for any team. Remember, last season, the Grizzlies tied the Celtics for the most 20-point wins. They fell short of having a 25-point win as the backups in garbage time let the Hornets get within 24. So you missed that arbitrary cutoff. But another blowout victory. I mean, the Grizzlies were up by 37 at one point. They were ahead by 29 at halftime. That's tied for their largest halftime lead of the season. According to our buddy Sean Coleman, this was the second time in Grizzlies franchise history where the team scored at least 75 in the first half and had a 25-point lead. The other time was Game 5 against the Warriors in the playoffs last season. I mean, the Hornets, they're one of the worst defensive teams in the NBA. That checks out. Their effort level was very, very low. The Grizzlies got awesome contributions up and down the roster. The starting lineup looked extremely solid together. It, of course, helped that the Hornets didn't have Gordon Hayward or Kelly Oubre, and it was a mess for poor Charlotte. The Grizzlies scored 131 points. That is their fourth highest scoring total of the season. They are now 14-1 this season when scoring 120 or more. Of course, last season they were undefeated when they scored 120 points or more. Because of the nature of the blowout, no one really pops off the page as far as the individual statistics. I think the most eye-popping number is the Grizzlies won the Steven Adams-Santi Aldama minutes by 21. Adams and Aldama played 14 minutes together, and they were plus 21. Is that more about Steven Adams and Santi Aldama or more about the Hornets' second unit? I have no idea. Desmond Bane had 19 points and 11 rebounds. That's the first career double-double for Desmond Bane. His three-point shots still look a little bit weird. Like his footwork and balance maybe are slightly off, but he hit 2 out of 6 threes. But, of course, 19 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists. Ja had 23 points and 8 assists, only played 3 quarters. That was all that was needed from him. Steven Adams grabbed another 15 rebounds to continue this amazing rebounding tear that he is on. Steven has 76 rebounds in his last 4 games. That is the second highest total this season for any player over a 4-game span. That is the highest total ever for any Grizzlies player over a 4-game span. Zach Randolph had 75 rebounds over a 4-game span in 2009. Jonas also had 75 rebounds over a 4-game span in 2020. Steven Adams with 76 in his last 4 games. Overall, the Grizzlies have pulled back into a tie for first in the Western Conference with the Nuggets. Notably, since December 1st, the Grizzlies have the best net rating in the NBA. They have the second best record, trailing only the Nets. But they're still not making their jump shots or their free throws. The Grizzlies are 29th in three-point percentage since December 1st. They're 29th in three-pointers made. They're 28th in free throw percentage. Against the Hornets, they only made 9 three-pointers. In their last 3 games, they're only averaging as a team 8 made three-pointers per game. They won all those games. Part of it is, or maybe most of it is, they're getting it done on the defensive end. You know they lead the NBA in field goal percentage defense. They've been getting the steals recently. The Grizzlies, since December 1st, are second in the NBA in steals per game. The Grizzlies got 10 steals against the Hornets on Wednesday night. That's 3 straight games with double-digit steals. That's the second time this season they've had 3 straight games with double-digit steals. They're blocking the shots again. They're getting the steals again. They're winning basketball games despite not making three-pointers. We've been here before. I mean, not just in the grits and grind era. We've been here before in each of the previous 3 seasons. There have been stretches where, hey, the Grizzlies are winning despite making threes. You could probably, drop a needle, so to speak, on any grits and grinds episode over the last 2 years. And a lot of the times, the talk was, just imagine how good this team could be if the shots go in. Like, what if the shots go in? I think it's good that the Grizzlies are winning despite not making threes. I mean, obviously it's good. But if you want to point out the flaw, you could say, well, this isn't going to work in the playoffs. We knew this was a regular season formula for success. Our goals this year to win an NBA title, to advance further than last year, you're going to need probably a better half-court offense. You're probably going to need to shoot the basketball a little bit better. I think those are fair concerns to have. But with the context of what's been happening for the Grizzlies with Desmond Bane, missing a bunch of games since December 1st, with Bane not looking totally himself, for me, it's all encouraging. It's all positive because I do think Desmond Bane is going to get back to closer to what we saw at the beginning of the year. Now, Ziaire's giving you nothing. That's something to talk about a little bit. Ziaire didn't even play in the competitive portion of this basketball game. He was on his way to a DNP coach's decision, a healthy scratch. He did get into garbage time. But you're getting the Grizzlies with their fully healthy roster, basically. I mean, Brandon Clark actually was out of this one too. Xavier Tillman stepped up, played some very nice minutes. But you're getting your preferred starters. Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, Dillon Brooks, Jaren Jackson Jr., Steven Adams, and you smash with those guys. And I know I pulled that weird stat that, after that Suns loss, which, by the way, the Grizzlies are undefeated since the Suns loss, and the Suns haven't won since they beat the Grizzlies shorthanded. But after that Suns loss, the Grizzlies over the past 2 seasons were 6-9 when starting their preferred starters with Ja, Desmond, Dillon, Jaren, and Steven. Well, now in this 4-game win streak, 3 of those are with their preferred starters. They've won all 3. So now a very, getting back to 500, 9-9 with the preferred starters. But more importantly, I think the minutes with the starters are dominant. This season, the starters have now played 123 possessions together. Not very much, but a plus 23.9 net rating. Last season, they only played 232 possessions together, but they were plus 25.1 net rating. This year, an elite defensive rating, a 97 defensive rating with the preferred starters. Just when Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, and Dillon Brooks were on the court together, last year, they were only on the court together for 320 possessions. They were plus 14.3 net rating in those 320 possessions last year. This year, they've already played more possessions together than they did all of last season. 484 possessions. They're plus 18.2 when Morant, Bane, and Brooks play together. And just for fun, since we didn't see it last game, my death lineup of Ja, Dez, Dillon, Jaren, and Brandon still stuck at 13 possessions on the season. But we don't need to worry about that today. because the starters played so well together. Dylan Brooks, very under control. Brevin on the broadcast talking about how good his rhythm was, offensively and defensively. I mean, Dylan scores 18 points on 10 field goal attempts. Jaren, 17 points on 10 field goal attempts. 17 points, 9 rebounds, 3 blocks for Jaren. The thing I love from Jaren, a couple things in this game. His comfort level of driving to those sweeping left-handed layups, it just looked awesome. Might have been total inattention to detail by the Hornets, but Jaren's offensive moves, his bag, if you want to call it that, looked really nice in this one. The way he was able to blow right by the Hornets and get to those layups, get to that offense. I mean, the Hornets, I think maybe the main viral takeaway play from this one is Ja Morant, time wasting. The Hornets were not competitive by any stretch of the imagination. Ja Morant standing in the backcourt, letting 20 seconds of the game clock roll off. The crowd is booing before Terry Rozier saunters up to make Ja pick up the basketball. As far as I can tell, that's the longest Ja's ever wasted. It was a little bit over 30 seconds from the Hornets made basket until the shot clock started for the Grizzlies. Somebody on Twitter pointed out, if the Grizzlies had used their full shot clock after that, that'd have been like 55 seconds. That's like 7% of an entire quarter. It's like running the football in a professional football game, wasting the clock. Keep that clock running. The Grizzlies time wasting. I feel like a lot of people are a little bit up in arms over this play. Non-Grizzlies fans thinking the NBA might change the rule. They might change the rule. A lot of the fixes people have suggested don't make any sense. Like the 8-second count shouldn't start, I don't think, once the ball's released. Clearly the 5-second count shouldn't keep going until a player touches it, because then you can never throw the ball in like full court. You'd have to release the ball after like 1 or 2 seconds because it takes so long for the ball to travel. I mean, should the 8-second count the minute the ball hits the court, even if it doesn't hit a player? I don't know. It's all weird. For me, this is a problem that doesn't need to be fixed. It ain't broken. It's a funny novelty. All you got to do is guard a guy. But anyways, the scoring was spread evenly among the starters. The minutes were spread evenly because of the blowouts. The bench performed well. Conchar just did his glue guy stuff, but like Roddy had a great game. Lots of those big body Roddy plays where he would take guys straight to the basket and he would finish with a layup, usually, putting his shoulder into the defender, getting that space. Aldama is just having a great season. I mean, maybe nothing notable in this game. I love that he has the rip through in his arsenal where he can save possessions and rack up opponent fouls when, a defender just puts a hand on him. A defender puts a hand, he does the rip through. Him having that poise and that ability, it's not something a lot of guys have. And so Aldama's just having a nice season. He's a good minutes eater. I already told you how the Grizzlies dominated the time with Aldama and Steven Adams together. Another thing I thought was notable, while I was looking at all these two-man net ratings, for the Grizzlies, since the Grizzlies had 2 days off before this game, I was just checking in, and we know a lot of the net ratings. They're all great. Any two-man combination of the starters is really, really good. A lot of the ones that were bad earlier in the year, like Xavier Tillman minutes and Tyus and Ja minutes, they're all improving as the Grizzlies keep winning games. But the notable takeaways for me in looking at Grizzlies two-man net ratings for the season, there are two that I think are interesting. One, Santi Aldama and Jaren Jackson Jr. aren't allowed to play together. I don't know why. In my head, it would work fine. Like, we know they don't play Steven Adams and Brandon Clark together. Okay, that makes sense. But Santi and Jaren haven't played a possession together. That seems strange. Seems like they tried it out one time. And sort of related to that, the Grizzlies haven't played a single big lineup where Jaren was the only big. They've done it with Steven Adams. Those possessions have gone pretty well. They've done it with Brandon Clark. Those possessions have gone less well. But they've never played a single big lineup where Jaren is the only big. Just thought that was notable. Anyways, let's see one more stat. The Grizzlies had 28 free throw attempts in the first half. That is their season high for free throw attempts in a half. And, finally, the Ziaire Williams, not in the rotation. It's concerning. It's surprising. He was questionable coming into this game. He was, dealing with that knee soreness that had kept him out of some previous games. And he was cleared to play and then was not a part of the rotation. For the wings off the bench, they went with Konchar and Roddy. Now, Konchar and Roddy both playing better than Ziaire has been playing this season. Obviously, there is the high draft capital investment in Ziaire Williams, and there's a lot of hope that this guy's going to develop into that, wing with size that the Grizzlies need, someone who can score in the half court. Lots and lots of optimism for what Ziaire Williams could become among the Grizzlies fan base, and it's a little strange just to see him get a DMP, to see him on the outside of the rotation. The Grizzlies play second night of a back-to-back against the Magic on Thursday night. By the way, I'll be doing a playback for the second half of the Grizzlies Magic game, approximately, 7:15 Central Time. It's an early start. Go over to playback.tv/fastbreakbreakfast to join me, maybe some guests, as I'll watch the second half of Grizzlies Magic and respond to it. Will he be back in the rotation this night? Are some other players going to sit out second night of a back-to-back? Is Bane going to be out again? It seems likely. Bane coming off that double-double, maybe gets the night off on his return to play procedure with his toe stuff. But Ziaire not being in the rotation when healthy, I don't think anyone anticipated that. And is it just, we're going to try out different things? That's something Taylor Jenkins says a lot when he's pressed about lineup, questions. Other years when it was like, well, hey, why didn't this guy play? It was like, we're just trying out a lot of stuff, which is fair. Roddy had a great game. Wouldn't have done anything differently. They could have played small ball more off the bench like they did the previous game where Kennedy Chandler played even though Tyus and Ja were playing. They could have, not used Xavier Tillman. Tillman played in this one. Tillman was awesome. Tillman tied his season high with 10 points. 10 points and got 6 rebounds. Also, maybe Jaren's best play of the game, as I'm remembering it. Jaren had a fantastic assist to his Michigan State buddy, Xavier, on the break. We don't see a lot of Jaren making a sweet dish on the break. So, a good game. Obviously, you're feeling great. 4 straight wins. Yet another blowout. The big question, or the most interesting eyebrow-raising thing about the game, if you have to pick something, it's the Ziaire Williams, what's going on with this season, and a little bit surprising to find himself behind Roddy and Konchar in the rotation. I don't disagree with it, to be clear. Zaire's looks pretty bad this year, but you kind of need Ziaire, I think. You need Ziaire to be good, and that goes back to all right, you're winning, but how are you winning? Is this a formula that will work in the postseason? I think it's a fair question to ask, but we don't have to worry about that just yet. Anyways, hope you're having a great Thursday. Remember to check out that playback watch party, virtual watch party on Thursday night, and I will talk with you soon. Go Grizz!